With all the offense involved in the crosstown shootout last week at Lowry Field, it's hard to believe that a defensive player actually made the biggest plays of the game. Here's George with our last City Player of the Week.
All right, thanks, Travis. We're here with Michael McNamara, defensive back for the Monterey Plainsmen. Michael, with a big game this last week against Coronado, against rival, 3 interceptions, all 3 setting up short touchdown drives. Michael, talk about the game. Odd for, a game that 115 points, that defense would kind of make some key plays, but talk about what you guys did defensively against Coronado.
Defensively, it was a tough-fought game. It was so back and forth offensively that any time you could make a stop defensively was huge. So we were just looking for turnovers as much as possible on defense because we know that they were gonna score and we were gonna go down and score. So defensive stop was pretty much key to the victory.
Was it frustrating? I mean, you're getting so many defensive stops, you're getting those turnovers, but it's still such a close game and a back and forth game. It just seemed like no matter what you could do, those stops weren't enough sometimes.
That's right. It definitely seems like they weren't enough sometimes. We had a couple. Anytime we get a defensive stop, and the one time we did, we had an offensive fumble, and defense had to run right back out there and go do it again, and get scored on. It was just real. It was real discouraging to see something like that happen. But you just got to keep on going. Which is what we did. Talk
about this game. I mean, it kind of matched some strengths, with Coronado's passing game, but you guys have been good in the secondary all year long. Talk about what you guys did to kind of shut them down a little bit.
As a secondary, we definitely had our neck out on the table this week, being Coronado's passing offense. We had to go man coverage against their star receiver, Shani Wilkinson. He's a great athlete. So we had man coverage, and then I was over the top of him, and our corners were sinking a lot, playing deeper coverage instead of kind of giving up the short game to protect the deep ball, keep us from getting beat too bad. So.
Was this a game where I guess maybe the cliche, you're just out there kind of maybe playing center field a little bit? I mean, because it seemed like a lot of those, were picks that, that maybe they just didn't see. You just kind of flashed in front at the last minute.
Definitely. It definitely felt a little bit like playing some outfield because I was just breaking on balls after they were thrown. You can't break too early because, the receiver put a double move on you, especially a receiver like Shaney, put a double move on you. So you definitely have to wait till the ball's in the air, then make the play.
Talk about what, this meant for you guys finishing strong against Lubbock High, against Coronado, the city rivals. You guys aren't going to the playoffs, but, a strong finish for you guys after a season that just seemed to be full of so much frustration.
It definitely felt good to have a strong finish like this. We're not going to the playoffs, but we all knew we wanted to end on a good note, and not going to the playoffs wasn't going to keep us from playing well. And the 2 teams before us, even though they went to playoffs, neither one of them beat Coronado and Lubbock High in the same year. So we felt like we still accomplished something that hadn't been accomplished in a while.
Now I want to go back a couple weeks ago. You were the one I noticed, after the Spurs game, as student body president, you get to go out and get the Spurs back. And I know there's a little, special meaning not only Monterey-wise but family-wise in that. Tell us about that a little bit.
Oh yes, sir. I felt like I wanted to go out there and tell the guy my brother dropped these last year. I was just going to pick him up for him, but it was definitely fun. Patrick was definitely pretty proud of me to go out there and get him back for him because I know he had to have the shame of turning him over, but I picked him up for him, so that was fun.
Well, a strong finish, a good finish for Monterey. Even like we say, even though they're not going to the playoffs, a strong finish, something for the Plainsmen to build on. Travis, back to you.
All right, a great way for McNamara and the Monterey Plainsmen in that season, George.
Yeah, good job by McNamara. A good job for the Plainsmen. Like you said, it's a little odd that a defensive player is kind of a key player in that game, but the fact that he set up all 3 scores with those 3 interceptions, including the one that clinched it down there at the end, as Coronado still trying to come back and maybe get within a score there. But good job. But I think maybe the most interesting fact, the fact that he was the one that 2 weeks ago went out and got the Spurs, at midfield as student body president, got him back from Lubbock High. A year ago, it was his brother Patrick that had to go and give them to Lubbock High. So maybe not only a little redemption for Monterey, but a little family redemption as well.
All right, next up on the Fever, with the playoffs rolling on now, George and I will give you our end of the season awards right here on the Fever.